honestly, anyone who is saying he deserves to die because he said this controversial thing, like they themselves are doing the same thing. Like that's one of the more controversial things you can say is that somebody deserves to die right on the wake of their death. You know what I mean? It's really just a low blow, kind of not cool, generically not cool. Nobody likes that. Everyone thinks that's psychopathic type, sociopathic behavior.
Barry, man, let's get down to it, man. I just wanted to chat with you a little bit about that because I've always admired you from afar, and yeah, you're always someone I'm like, yo, I feel like this is a fellow person that has an open mind, you know?
Yeah, I'm not going to get sucked into something.
Yeah.
Without thinking about it.
Absolutely. And I want to ask you, man, did you see the video on X? Charlie Kirk actually getting shot?
I didn't actually see the shooting video. Now, I already knew what it looks like, so I've seen plenty of shooting videos, and once I knew what was happening, I've watched a lot of the videos of everything but the shooting surrounding it, like the shooter on the roof and a bunch of other details. More journalistic stuff. The gore part of it just didn't catch me, and then once it's not caught me, it's not gonna catch me because I just don't subject myself randomly to that. I mean, I was a journalist with Truth in Media under Ben Swan for a long time, and we often had to look at stuff like that for the purpose of the video. So I would spend my whole day looking at gore videos over and over again, trying to parse details to write a story. So I've kind of had my fill of like, I know what it looks like, but yeah. I do realize that it's been auto-fed to everyone, to children, and that's a new thing, and that's a really weird thing. I think one thing that people don't understand, a lot of the like maybe liberal guys who didn't like him, who want to like dunk on him and stuff, don't understand is that a lot of people watch this who don't know anything about politics, and they are traumatized. They feel very sorry for him, and they don't know anything he said, and they don't care. And maybe if he said something controversial, so have they. Honestly, anyone who is saying he deserves to die because he said this controversial thing, like they themselves are doing the same fucking thing. Like that's one of the more controversial things you can say is that somebody deserves to die right on the wake of their death. You know what I mean? It's really just a low blow, kind of not cool, generically not cool. Nobody likes that. Everyone thinks that's psychopathic type, sociopathic behavior. If you do that and then you try to advocate for some kind of political shit, no one's going to want to like be a part of whatever you're a part of because it's so gross. You know what I'm saying? So like they don't understand that it's even worse when everyone else just watched the person die and they don't know anything about him and they think you're just really unhinged and crazy, like super bad if you do that. People don't understand it. I don't think they actually are that bad for doing it. I think they're just like, you know, they're caught up in some kind of tribalism thing. And it's kind of like the day after, I really felt sick the day after Osama bin Laden died and there was all those weird parties. Even with Osama bin Laden, it feels weird. It's not right. It's not right to celebrate anyone's death. I mean, it's okay to just be like, okay, I don't like that guy, but I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to celebrate his life into death. Like if you didn't like the guy, you don't have to go online and say rest in peace or anything, but just shut your mouth. You know what I mean? Right. You fucking die in front of everybody. Just shut the damn mouth. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. And you know, and I'm saying something, man. You know, I didn't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk said. Okay.
Oh, definitely not.
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things he said where I was like, you know, but I will say this, you know, I don't like Joe Biden, right? You know what I'm saying? But the thing is I don't want the guy to die.
No.
You know, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, the one question I want to ask you, you have like this super amazing brain. I want to ask you, what has led us to this situation to where there's a populace of people and Barry, it's a good amount of people. That
it's like a large number.
It feels like it's okay for them to get online and say, yo, he deserved this. I mean, what's going on, Barry? What's your
take? There was a systemic training that went on in college campuses. I watched it when I was in college in the early 2000s, and it's kind of like trained everyone now, where they've redefined violence to make words violence and to say that you're literally wishing my death or causing my death through saying things that don't honor or validate my anything, identity, mental health issues, whatever. So it's like once they've kind of created that redefinition, that's the new definition of violence, then you're allowed. Also, they say through, we are living through the new Adolf Hitler fascism. So, if this was Nazi Germany right now, smoking whoever's the guy in charge of the German Nazi movement would probably be a morally righteous thing to do. So when you tell people these things, then you put them in a social media echo chamber where they only have people that think like them. They only share news that's, actually wrong, and they don't know that it's wrong. And then they now are building a system where they believe we actually have some kind of violent emergency that requires shooting people left and right all over the place. You know what I mean? And it's kind of also Luigi Mangione. A lot of people were sharing videos talking about how sexy he was. This guy looks like a copycat. I think we're just getting into an era where social media is bringing out our animal brain bad stuff and making us think that it's some kind of like righteous, modern, civilized thing, but we're really just using technological and rhetorical excuses to be animal type, let our animal passions run us instead of being civilized and saying, hey, all people have rights. If you say something controversial, that sucks or whatever, I don't have to talk to you, or I can whatever, but you don't shoot people. Right. You know what I mean? Actually, you couldn't have done it worse, because you picked a guy who was a symbol of debate. He was saying that he's willing to die, or somebody dying for the Second Amendment's worth it. And he's in the middle of saying that when you shoot him in the neck. Like, it almost proves his point while making you look like an idiot, because you're trying to be an anti-Second Amendment activist by shooting somebody in the neck. I mean, that's just like, you know what I mean? That's like trying to fuck for virginity. It's just not how it works, dude. Like, you can't be the violent person and then say you need to take our guns away, because you just shot us. And now you're telling us we need to take our guns away. Like, no, dude, I'm afraid you're going to shoot me. You know what I'm saying? That's not how you advocate that. You don't advocate that you think, like, I don't believe a guy who shoots somebody in the neck knows what's good for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really believe that that's true. And that's shown to you by his, the fact that he's a shit person.
Yeah, Barry, I tell you, man, I think that was a wonderful explanation. And I want to mention something to you, man. I was, so I play acoustic guitar and play at a lot of smaller bars and stuff, but I also do like, I do karaoke. I host all kinds of stuff. I'm really just like I feel like the modern musician, you got to do like 50 different things.
That's true. You do. You really do.
And yo, man, I was last night, I was in Benson at this gig I've been doing for 7 years. And this girl was like, hey, Nick, and I normally don't sing a lot of karaoke because, if you're a musician, there's a difference in karaoke and, getting out there and playing.
Yeah. Not prepared.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And I get up there and she picks that Alan Jackson song, Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning, about 9/11. And bro, I'm going to tell you something, man. I have not cried in probably 10, 12 years. And man, the waterworks just got turned on, because it brought me back to, I remember when I saw the 9/11 stuff happen, and you seeing the people jump out of the top of the damn building because they didn't want to burn to death. And man, I don't know what it was, man, but I was like, and then you have this stuff happen with Charlie Kirk and
interestingly, 9/11 at that age, like, I was kind of activated into libertarian politics around Waco. Waco had a profound effect on my stepdad and me.
Me too.
And that I was already like I'd already watched Terror Dome by Alex Jones in the 90s. I'd already read Behold the Pale Horse, you know what I'm saying, as a teenager or whatever. So like when 9/11 happened, I'd already watched Alex Jones' episode where he told everyone to call the Congress switchboard and tell them to stop the attack on the World Trade Center that's going to come up and get blamed on Muslims. Like he said that like 3 or 4 months before. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then when 9/11 happened, I was like, that did happen. You know what I mean? Like that second plane hit, because I was still up. I was still drinking at that age, so we were up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer up all night. You know what I mean?
Great show, by the way. Great show, great movie, man.
Oh yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is the GOAT, dude. But yeah, it was a crazy day. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. To me, that was eye-opening. My trust in the government just went flying down after that. Now, granted, Alex Jones, I think, is like the kind of guy he tries to sensationalize and whatever. You can't trust him, but I think he is a guy that if you're the CIA or whatever and you're about to do something sketchy, you call Alex Jones first and you tell him, and then you call him again 2 weeks later, you tell him something that's not true, and then he publishes both of them, and then now you've buried your shit, and now it doesn't look like it happened. I think that's an Alex Jones. That's what he's used for. Yeah. So if you read his site, like he's half the time, he's like 10% of the time, he's like so right. 90% of the time, he's completely wrong. But the scary part is over a 20-year window, he is righter than everyone else. He is righter than he needs to be. In fact,
facts, bro.
If I was to run for president, I would run on make Alex Jones wrong again. That's what we, you know what I mean?
Right. Hey, that's what's up. Now, Barry, I want to ask you something else, man. I still got you for a few minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, I got 3 minutes. I got to run to a session.
You got it, brother. You got it. And first off, thank you for taking the time to do this. And the last thing I want to ask you is, let me know your thoughts on everything that's going on with Epstein. I want to mention something to you real quick. I think it has to do with this. I think it has to do with the idea of the government was aware of what he was doing with the young women, and they were perfectly fine with that as long as they were getting information from him. Now, that could be wrong. That's just my speculation.
I agree. I think he was a Mossad honeypot scheme. And the reason why they can't just publicize a list of every single person in the scheme is that half of these people are probably in positions around the world where, like, it's a Turkish guy and official. And if we publicize that he did that, he will then be taken out of his position, probably put in jail. And then we will now have somebody we don't like in that. So that's what honeypots are for. They're used to manipulate and threaten somebody that you're going to expose what they did, and then you can control them. So if this person's over and he's running a fucking terror cell in, Yemen, and they're using this to control the guy, and so he doesn't do something bad, like, you know what I mean? I think it's something along those lines where it's more sensitive, and they can't just publish the whole list once they took a look at it, because they did seem enthusiastic to do something until they got in there and got a hold of the documents. And I think that's probably what that is. And we'll see, though. The theory that I think if Trump was on the damn thing, then Biden would have publicized that, because they had it. You know what I mean? I don't think that's real. I don't think everyone who hung out with Epstein did something with Epstein. I think Epstein used his connections to move around through there, and certain losery weirdos like Prince Andrew and stuff, like, he would take advantage of that. And then, that was a big source of the power that got him to be able to be around all those other big time people. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like Diddy, it's like, just because Diddy's parties probably had an 8 p.m. and then a 3 a.m. Yeah. Not everyone's still there at 3 a.m. And if you were there at 8 p.m., you probably had no idea that there was 270,000 gallons of lube. You know what I mean?
Yo, where's all this baby oil coming from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's a baby oil bomb in here, like a baby oil fucking flood, dude. Too much lube.
Mr. Barry, I want to tell you something. I don't want to make you late for your session. I do want to tell you, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today. And I would love to have you on again. And you know what? They say, hey, don't meet your heroes, but I say this. If your hero is Barry, you should meet him. That's what I say.
Appreciate you thinking of me as a hero, man. You're my hero too. And we'll chat again soon. I gotta get to work.
Yes, sir. You be safe. You too, brother. You too.